Welcome guys to beautiful Sydney, Australia. Yesterday we are not in Hong Kong, not in Bali, not in Dubai, not in Shanghai where I usually live, although I'm German. Thank you so much for being my follower of my podcast or show Business Meets Life. I hope you've been enjoying it so far. Today we're going to do something different. Why not do a solo podcast? How to integrate fast in a new city or country. I have been asked this question now a couple of times from people because every now and then I share my stories on Instagram, what I've been up to, how I spend my time doing business development, sales, meeting local people, getting to know another kind of culture basically, because my goal is I want to be a serial entrepreneur and do business around the world in different kind of countries. So yeah, this is what I'm working towards. Now, first of all, if you actually don't know yet what I have been up to, 7 years of corporate at Hewlett-Packard back in Germany, Finland, and in the USA. That's my background from IT. When I was studying in China, actually, I found my purpose in life. Quit my job and started my own happiness consulting company. Well, it didn't really sell that fast, but happiness and then consulting in China, right? So nowadays what we basically do is we do a lot of like corporate trainings. We provide from soft skills, leadership, mental fitness, and AI trainings. All of this. Beyond this, we have tons of coaches, executive life, relationship, business coaches, and so on. We do tons of keynote speeches. You may have seen me twice on TEDx, and recently I was in the US speaking in front of 1,500 people from 80 countries around the world in like close to Los Angeles. We had people like Tonino Lamborghini, Kevin Costner sharing the same stage. So recently I started a new endeavor, podcast Genie marketing. Last year I spent more than 300 hours learning AI. It's a big trend, right? Everybody needs to know about AI, and most important, to really embrace it. So that's why we started podcast Genie marketing. And recently I've started doing more in the Middle East as well. So what we do is we help you to bring your PR and branding to the next level. Use and create your own podcast on a TV production level. And yeah, build up your authority around the world, no matter where you are. Get new leads. And then we pair this with some AI and marketing services. So this is it about me. Let's talk about how you can integrate very fast a new country and city. Okay, I took at least a couple of notes, although this is like not learned by heart here today's podcast. So in February, I was in Bali for the second time. And a couple of things that I did there is basically, of course, I would have asked friends. I know a couple of people who are living in Bali. Always ask the locals. They have the best advice. They know all the platforms. And then most important for me is always like, where are the events happening? Entrepreneur events, like industry events for marketing, for AI, for maybe training, coaching. Of course, if you are an entrepreneur, you also need to know who's your target audience. Where would they mingle? With ChatGPT or AI nowadays, this is so easy to find out. Once you know who your ideal buyer is, with AI, you can find out where they're mingling. Like, for example, in Australia, we have this huge, which I didn't even know, but people get up so super early. You guys may have known I'm an early bird. I often get up at 4 or 5 o'clock, do some webinars, online hosting already, do some work in the early morning, and recently also more and more sports. So in Australia, the culture is really like the hustlers, the hardcore Australians that maybe have family, they're decision makers, they work in big companies, they would go to the gym. I didn't know until I signed up because I like going to the gym and working out and doing something for my health and body. And yeah, 5:30 a.m. in the morning, people go to group workouts. And then after this, they might go to work. So really know the culture, talk to locals. And it was actually a German friend here in Sydney who said, okay, Janine, I really want you to integrate fast during these 5 weeks that you are in Sydney. And she told me, those are the kind of like gyms you can do. This is where you can do Pilates, yoga. But I just didn't know how much of like a passion Australians have when it comes to their sports and working out compared to other kind of countries. Now in Bali, I've met tons of people on sunrise walks or surfers in the early morning, for example, okay? So really get to know the culture of the city, talk to locals. Then my friend here in Sydney, she said, oh, if you want to go out for dinner, there's even like apps like Eat Club where you can get up to 40% on trying out amazing new restaurants. So you really want to be open-minded, try something new. Another Australian friend who I was meeting, he was like, he just came back to Shanghai, and he was like, you know, Janine, when you come to Sydney, you should go and sign up for a sailing course. Being German, coming from a city which is not close to the sea, I would have never even thought about like signing up for a sailing course or helping somebody during a sailing regatta, or even like go to a yacht club, right? So it is good to talk to these locals that give you the right platforms, where to check out the local events, which kind of apps to use. Like we in China, we would often, like for eating, go on Dazhong Dianping, right? Here, like in Australia, when it comes to events, as I would say all around the world, even in Dubai, in Munich, there's always internations. I used to be running internations events back in Suzhou, China, where you can meet a lot of like-minded expat friends. No matter where you are. Then there's Meetup, which is always a great start. These are like the first platforms I check out, as well as Eventbrite. Now that I've started my global roadshow, I have this, remember I sold Monday Morning Motivation? Actually, right now this week, we have the 6-year anniversary since I had started it. And I was glad to sell it to the Motivate community and Adrian Cahill. But I started this new community, AIpreneurs Podcast Lead Machine. So I'm doing this like global roadshow now, all about like podcast, and AI and marketing. We started in Sydney, so I didn't know where am I going to promote it, but Eventbrite is a really good platform to get started. And while I'm still figuring out what are other good events, or like where you're going to host it, now I started booking myself in, like here today at beautiful WeWork actually, and I realized WeWork exists all around the world. So I have access to it. And then I just talk to the community managers. I talk to other like-minded entrepreneurs. I attend these entrepreneurial like meetups here. That's how you really get to ask questions and talk. Be open-minded. Don't be shy. That's something I learned when I worked for HP in Finland, because especially Finnish people, they don't want to talk to strangers. So I really had to learn to get out of my comfort zone and do the first step and just ask people questions. Or here in the elevator, because Australians from their culture are so easy to talk to. Same with like going in the evenings to bars. They have this pop culture. People are just so social. Right here after work in a CBD area like George Street, for example, you would go out, you easily get to talk to people. Even like go out for dancing. That's where you meet amazing business people even, right? Ask some questions. And at WeWork now, we're going to host one of my events together in August. Yeah, it's just amazing. So use these global platforms to start with. Now that I checked out different kind of gyms, because I love working out, I love meeting people, I love learning about like local things, I found this place I hadn't known about. Have you guys ever flown with Virgin? You might know Richard Branson, right? Virgin Airlines. So I didn't know, only thanks to my ChatGPT and my online research and communicating with my AI, I found out that Virgin Active, yes, it's the same kind of brand, has gyms in different cities and countries around the world. They offer amazing workouts. I've experienced a cycling class, like different lights, like amazing like atmosphere. Again, early morning, 7 o'clock. It was a different experience of workout, which I've never had before. And then again, I got in contact with people who go there, talk to them, exploit something new. So WeWork, Virgin, they exist in several countries, like Eventbrite meetups, internations. Just start from there. And then you might meet, like when I was in Dubai, at that time, some of my former friends from China, they were all in town. Some have moved to Dubai, others were just in town for one of the biggest cryptocurrency conferences. So then they actually, when I met them, they took me to local events. Oh, Janine, we gotta make sure we go to this event, to this bar, to this restaurant. I started to get to know more local people at the same time. And then I found out about the very, very local platforms. For example, in Dubai, they use Luma. When I was hosting my first ever crypto mining showroom event, because like Mining Race is a company I invested some money in, I visited their showroom because I personally was interested in it. And it took me like not much of an effort. Why not actually bring people with me when I visit the showroom? Because I know a couple of people and I'm happy to meet other people. So instead of you just going to events, why don't you organize your own events, and you will attract different kind of people that eventually you may have never met in a different kind of way, right? So that's why I started by hosting, and I found out about Luma, this app which is used in Dubai, and easily I got a lot of new people joining my event even on short notice. Okay, let's go back. So go back also to your hobbies. Start very simple. What's your hobby? Are you like those crazy hardcore Australians? You love getting up early. You love exercising. Maybe then you just go to and try out different kind of gyms and sport activities, as I just said. Also get out of your comfort zone, like me, trying to connect to the yacht clubs and trying out sailing and something different. I'm a passionate dancer. So usually back in the days in California, in Helsinki, the way in Munich, how I made my friends in Stuttgart is basically through salsa, bachata, kizomba dancing. So I would sign up for trial classes, and also here, very nice in Australia, you often get one free trial class. So you can really experience different things before you sign up. You get to meet people, you experience it, and I had signed up for a salsa class. Right? And from there, again, I spoke to people. I got into the circles. Where can I find out about the best dance schools, dance festivals? I even like met a couple on a dance floor. The next day, these Australians were flying to Beijing for a salsa festival. Right? So sometimes it's like a very small world, but you just got to be proactive and go out there. And again, in salsa, bachata, in this kind of scene through dancing, it's easy to get in contact. Sometimes people tell me, oh, but I'm a woman, I cannot ask a man to dance. Well, in salsa, bachata, in that scene, it is normal and it is okay. Even if you're a woman or a man, just ask anybody to dance, because we are there not to hit on each other. We are there to have fun because we have the same kind of hobby and we enjoy dancing. And then at the same time, you might meet people that maybe you will start doing business together. You can partner, collaborate. Maybe you're going to meet your next future husband or wife there. You never know, right? But just have a pure intention when you sign up for these things. Don't be only like business minded. Also take care of your health, and yeah, it should be like a balance. It's something which is easier to learn living here in Sydney now for a couple of weeks than actually being in China, where it's like 24/7, 7 days a week, a lot of hustling. Yeah, let me check my notes. So how to integrate fast and easy in a new country or city. Also, guys, when you're in an elevator, have you heard of the elevator pitch? Yes. I'm not saying you should give her an elevator pitch about your own company and what you do for work, but just start with a small talk. Cultures like, for example, French people and North Americans, they're very easy. As I said, Australians are so easy to get in contact. We Germans are not so fond of like doing a lot of small talk, but nowadays what I just like ask them when I meet people in my building where I live, like a neighbor, or here, like when I went to WeWork, hey, how's it going? Very easy, right? How are you? Ça va? In any kind of language. And you could just ask them, do you have a busy day ahead? you could talk about the weather worst case, right? Like today is a beautiful sunny day, although now in Australia you have like autumn and winter season coming up. It was raining for days. And also even the person who's sitting next to you on the desk, just start a small talk. You don't want to annoy people, but you can start, you can see where things might be going. And the elevator is a great place. Or like in the hallway of your building. Oh, also, if you come to Shanghai, I really gotta say, even when I give some guest lectures for foreign students who come to China, I always tell them, if you want to get an internship, or maybe I know so many people nowadays who are looking for jobs. I know for foreigners, it's very challenging. I'm also a career coach to get jobs in China. And even if they speak Chinese and they're super well qualified, it's getting challenging here in China nowadays. However, even like for my students, I tell them, because students, they love to party, they're young. I tell them different kind of clubs where they can get in contact with amazing business people while having a drink, while dancing, while just partying what they love doing. Again, it's a hobby, right, that you could have, but you don't want to follow the mainstream, what everybody's doing. When it comes to job advice that I'm giving, do not just go for LinkedIn applications. Build up your own network. It's all about the network. And that is something that I learned when I actually was working for HP. And I was a student with them. They told us from the start, build up your network, 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 network. Living in China for nearly 8 years. Isn't that crazy? Yes, nearly 8 years. It's something Chinese people are so good at compared to us Germans. Like, I love sharing my network. I love bridging. I love bringing people together for synergies. Like this morning, my friend, we have the same coach in the US, JT Fox, and Craig, he reached out and he was like, hey Janine, can you help me get that contact from China, because I really want to bring his business and his new innovation to the Middle East and to North America. So there's tons of synergies, right? So a friend of mine, he introduced me and he was like, oh, you should like interview my boss. So I interviewed amazing Luxman Pai. He's a successful MarTech entrepreneur based in Sydney. He has a huge team in India, super fast growing. And we immediately connected on the podcast. So what happened is, again, going back to networking, I knew like when I go to a different city, I would go through my WhatsApp, my WeChat, my LinkedIn, like who do I know in the city, right? Check, do some research, and then reach out to them. Hey, I'm in town. Do you want to meet up? So I was meeting up with Lux thanks to my podcast. We've only met online. We had super well connected online through the podcast, and finally we met in person, which was amazing. So from this conversation now, new potential collaborations started to develop from this. And this was only the second time that we met. Remember, that's the power of a podcast, right? There's no boundaries or borders, whether you live in China like me or you're on a business trip in Australia. So reach out to these people who you know in the city, or again, ask your network to introduce you to people. Long story short, one time talking about the power of networking, which especially I learned from Chinese. It's all about the guanxi. I was at the airport in Shanghai, quickly grabbed a bite to eat. Next to me there was this guy, again, I think he was British or so, living in Singapore. Started chatting. We both had some time. We chatted a bit. We connected on WeChat and LinkedIn. What happened? He recently reached out a couple of days ago, told me about his new company that he's starting now. And while I was meeting Lux for the first face-to-face event, I realized, oh, these guys could have some synergies. So why not share this network? A lot of like people in Germany, I feel like they're hiding their network. They're not really like opening up. I'm so grateful for the French business school in China, where I had studied for 2 semesters while working for HP in Germany. But they really open up their network for me. They helped me to integrate and start my company in China, because at the end I was supposed to stay with HP in Germany, or HP abroad, sorry, by then we were called DXC Technology. But My German business school did not really share much, or like the German network, the culture itself did not really open up a lot of their network for me. You see different kind of cultures, and it's not about saying anything bad. At the end, it's about you. But no matter where you go, build up your network. That's why I tell my students, even go out partying, build up your network. Maybe you will get an internship or a job from somebody you met partying. Or like me, through the podcast, that I create new business collaborations all around the world, or bringing other people together. Whether you get a commission from the deal or not, it doesn't matter. Sharing is caring. Of course, it should be in balance. So it's all about your network. Really utilize it. On LinkedIn, I have more than 27,000 people. In China, we don't use LinkedIn much, but now that I go abroad, I've started to realize I really need to utilize more of my network. Reach out. Don't be shy. Get out of your comfort zone, right? Yeah, power of networking. Yeah, I've already mentioned I'm going to do this global roadshow now with something that I'm passionate about. If you guys have not joined my new free community, the AIpreneurs podcast on school, you can still do this. We have a QR code and a link for you guys. So for anybody who's passionate about podcasting, starting your own podcast, if you want to do it yourself, especially if you're an entrepreneur, a coach, sales rep, marketing person, business owner, I highly recommend it. And as I said, with the new company now, Podcast Genie, if you don't have the time, because a podcast is super, super time consuming. I love doing it, but if I did this all by myself, it would easily take me about 20 hours just for one podcast episode, with the social media publishing, with the editing, the cutting, with everything basically. And you know, I publish it once per week, right? Feel free to reach out. I have an amazing team, and we can basically, you can outsource it to us, and I will also coach you to come up with great questions, how to interview, how to not be shy in front of the camera, right? This is most important. And I've learned a lot from mingling with or meeting Hollywood actors like Vince Vaughn, Kevin Costner, Rick Hoffman from Suits. You might know Suits, right, from Netflix. Litting Up, right? This is Rick Hoffman, this kind of actor. And because I've also played in commercials, I know how it is to be in front of the camera, so I can definitely help you to overcome that kind of fear if you want to start your own podcast and rather do it via video instead of audio. So you can see, like in my new community, when we do the Global Roadshow, I'm going to be sharing more of my tools, my learnings on AI, marketing, podcasting, branding, building an authority globally. Yes, what else I want to say? So yes, I'm going to be in Munich, in Germany in August, back in Dubai in the Middle East, probably in July, working on these kind of things. Also Sydney, much more, actually Australia coming up. Soon also London, Dublin. We're going to have the roadshow in Los Angeles in November. Hong Kong, Shanghai, of course. So stay tuned. And if I haven't met you in person yet, I would love to. Reach out to me, right? Okay, let me see what else is in here. Also, thanks to the power of networking. If any one of you is interested in investing in crypto mining, I'm happy to share where I do it. I'm not giving any financial advice, don't get me wrong. Every one of you is smart enough, but I'm happy to share these resources. I will start creating more videos on the AI tools that are my favorites. And I'm gonna post it on my YouTube channel in case you're not following me yet, but probably you are because you're watching my YouTube or Spotify for my podcast. Also, last but not least, guys, remember, 80% is mindset. So really make sure you surround yourself with the right like-minded people. Be positive. We all have these low moments. Now that I have been in Sydney for 2.5 weeks, I'm so proud on how fast I've integrated here. But I've had a low moment, and yesterday I was thinking, do I maybe have a little culture shock? Yes, I mean, being in Sydney, being a European, the culture is not as different versus your first time being in China, for example. And I've lived in France, in Finland, in the US, right? But still, you're gonna have challenges. things that are different. You got to be aware of your emotions, how you feeling, how you're reacting. So I told one person, look, I would be happy to meet you, but I think right now, this evening, I need maybe an evening for myself because I'm going through these kind of struggles. Or you can also proactively tell people, and maybe they can help you overcome these culture shocks, help you integrate. Something I also love about the Sydney culture here is, as I said, I'm so grateful that through going to this group workout, shout out to Anytime Fitness, Group Fit. They're all over Australia. They're amazing, these group workouts. People being accountability partners. It was so easy for me to make new friends. And at the same time, just by going out dancing, like I met these amazing women. They immediately integrated me because we had the same passion. Let's start dancing, right? So at the end, it's all about mindset, your attitude, how do you approach people, keep up your smile. This is about the first impression, how you approach people, because if you're grumpy, even if you go out, they might not even want to talk to you. They might not want to integrate you, right? So yeah, it's all about the power of the network. I highly recommend Australia. Amazing food, amazing lifestyle. We can really learn how to appreciate nature and our life and not only work. And yeah, if you guys are looking into real estate, I have amazing partners, contacts I can connect you with here in Australia in different cities. I mean, it's definitely like a potential to buy real estate in Australia as well as in Bali. Check out my podcast with amazing Dean, a French who used to work for Alibaba in China and now is in Bali and is rocking it. He's an amazing contact for real estate in as well as like a skating business in Bali and beyond. So any kind of contacts you also need between China and the West, I'm always happy to try and bridge. So long story short, if you love what I do, please guys, refer the team and me to your contacts as well. Sharing is caring. Send this podcast to your friends so we can grow, we can make more of an impact, because I'm very impact driven. It's not just about money. I want people to not only be successful, but also be happy. That's why on Business Meets Life, we really like talk about how these amazing role models that I meet around the world have become successful, but also, are they happy? What made them happy, right? What made them successful? We talk about these topics here. So yeah, please subscribe, follow, share. Whether you follow me on Little Red Book, Douyin, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I think I have even more social media platforms, right? Or on my podcast on YouTube and Spotify. Thank you so much for being with me. Also, remember, it's all about your staff. So really invest in talents in your people. We have amazing trainings, coaching, keynote speeches to offer on, as I said, soft skills like communication, presentation skills, public speaking, leadership, entrepreneurship for your leaders, AI, mental fitness. Mental fitness is actually my key, my bestseller around the world in several continents now, APAC, EMEA. Yes, and now we have the podcast production on a TV level in several cities and online for you guys. And join my podcast, AIpreneurs Podcast School community as well. Long story short, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you. And I hope you got some value on how you can really integrate faster, better into new cities and countries. Be aware of the culture. And also in the comments, I would love to hear on how you have integrated in new countries and cities. Whether it's online, offline, tell me your tricks, and sharing is caring. Take care. This was Janine Jakob. Greetings from beautiful Sydney, Australia. And next week I'm flying to Hong Kong.